Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Vagisha Mishra, and after a crazy week of Miss Universe 2020, I'm here to share my thoughts on why Andrea Meza from Mexico won Miss Universe 2020. So I was going through certain social media posts since last few hours, and I was very surprised to see that people were bashing Andrea Meza like anything. Now, if you have watched my previous videos, all the videos which I published and uploaded in the series of Road to Miss Universe, somewhere I was very sure that it's going to be a Latina winner this year. And when we talk about the Latina candidates, only two candidates were there in my radar. One was Puerto Rico and the another one was Mexico. Now I'll come to the later video why Puerto Rico could not make it to top 5 and why certain candidates did not place at all. I'll talk about that. But this video is going to be on why Andrea Meza won the title of Miss Universe 2020. And many of you have been sending me DMs, some of you are getting very emotional on why Miss Universe 2020 is Mexico and not any other country like India, Peru and so on. So let me answer all of your question. Again, it is going to be my opinion and I am not sure whether you are going to agree with it or not. But having followed and observed pageants from many years, you've got to understand this, that pageants decisions are never based on beauty alone and more importantly, never based on the top 5 question and answer alone. What you see on the stage is an amalgamation of all the things which have taken place in the pre-pageant activities which we don't have an access to. We don't have an access to closed door interview, we don't have an access to how candidates behave in the hotel room, and we don't have an access to what kind of benefit the organization will be getting by crowning any particular candidate. So you have to understand this, that at the end of any pageant, any beauty pageant, it's not only Miss Universe, any beauty pageant, it's ultimately the organization deciding who they want to have as an ambassador, with whom they can work with, and also who can actually highlight the whole cause of their organization and sell their brand in most significant way. And the real deal, the real job begins after you're crowned as Miss Universe, not before that. So what you see on the stage is merely a representation of how the candidates walk, how they hold the mic, how they talk, how they address the organization. But think from the organization's perspective. Where are they going to get maximum benefit from? So to answer all of this, let me go for a detailed elaboration and let me share my thoughts on each of them. So I have few pointers made here. I was struggling with many of the ideas and many ideas came to my mind immediately after crowning. So let me start with the very first point which I had in my mind. Now the very first fact is that Andrea Meza was the runner-up of Manushi Chiller at Miss World 2017, right? So every one of us, we know that. But if you have been a part of an international pageant like Miss World, you have got enough exposure, you have got enough caliber to compete at a pageant like Miss World. Miss World is no cakewalk, just like Miss Universe is not. And if she is there, if she has done certain work which gained attention, she has certainly improved upon herself a lot. And after 3 years as well, she has worked a lot upon herself to be there at that position. So in terms of, fitness, in terms of communication, I would not say, because just because she does not speak in good English, we cannot say that that person is not good in communication, right? Because you only get to see about 30 seconds to 1 minute on stage on how a candidate is answering anything. And based on that, we cannot decide that whether the candidate is worthy enough to be crowned or not. There are so many events in the pre-pageant activities where the organization get to interact with the contestants, and how convincing you come across in those events, that really matters a lot. So what you see on the stage, that is simply a show which is put up for the audience. But the real results is always a combination, an amalgamation of all the things which are taken into the consideration, like the prelims. If I talk about the preliminary competition, Mexico, and I have repeated this, I'm not saying this after Andrea has won this, I have said this in my previous videos as well, where I have done the review of the evening gown and swimsuit and also the prelims favorite in my final predictions also. She stepped in to win it. She was the only candidate who balanced her performance in both evening gown and swimsuit round in the prelims. Prelims performance do matter. They scored. And apart from that, she was also somebody who did very well in terms of styling, in terms of appearance, in terms of social media coverage when it comes from day one to the final day. Like any of her styling in any of the day did not look like she is not ready to win at all. And if you remember on the day one of Miss Universe pageant when it began, I shared one video where India and Mexico, they were working on the runway in the registration and fittings event. And immediately I had it in my mind that these two ladies are going to make it huge at Miss Universe. So it's always, the observation of little things which are observed right from the beginning to the finale day. Now this is my second point, that she was very well prepared, she was extremely confident. And the third thing, which I really want to point out, and I have been saying this since the beginning, since the arrivals, that Telemundo is the official sponsor of Miss Universe 2020 and it is the largest television network in Latin American country. Now, we know that Andrea Meza can speak very good English. We have seen her speaking well in English in Miss World and also at many other events. But do you ever think that it was a very smart move on the behalf of Andrea Meza to start and initiate her final statement or probably the final question and answer round in Spanish so that the sponsor shall be impressed? And why will they not try to bring somebody in the spotlight who's very confident and who can address the large gathering of the Latin American continent? I'm not saying this is the only reason. Certain things, like the cherry on the cake, they just line up and they lead to something extra. So these are the extra brownie points which she collected throughout the course of the competition. Apart from that, I also want to stress on the fact that since IMG has taken over the Miss Universe organization, two Asians and specifically Philippines has won two Miss Universe titles, which is in the representation of Catriona Gray and Pia Alonso Wurzbach, and two Africans as well, which is from South Africa, like Dimi Peters and Zozimiri Tunzi. So which candidate is left apart? Which continent is left apart? It's certainly Latina. And let me tell you one interesting fact, if you're only focusing on the question and answer round, why don't you question the crowning ceremony of Miss Universe 2013? Why don't you question the crowning ceremony of Miss Universe 2014? I was pretty much not convinced with how Paulina Vega answered her final question. I was not happy with how Gabriela Ehler answered her final question. So it's never about the question and answer round only. And if you talk about Miss World, let's not talk about Miss Universe. Media Lalaguna and then Miss World winner from China in 2012 perhaps. I was not a fan of their answers at all. So it's never the answer only which guarantees you the crown. If you give a very good answer, it certainly increases your chances, it augments your chances, but only the question and answer round cannot be the decisive factor. You have to understand this. And now very important fact, you can never understand pageant in terms of emotion. Emotionally being connected to pageant was something which was natural to me, when I started following pageants initially when I was a teenager or so. So I was very much emotionally involved and invested in pageants. But you have to understand that pageants and politics go hand in hand. You have to think from the organization perspective. Let's talk about the market. When you talk about the market, the Latin American countries have more huge markets than compared to the Asian ones, where they can invite more sponsors, they can invite more collaboration, they can go for many fashion shows, and they can also, invite so many other deals which will benefit them for the longer run. The Miss Universe who shall be crowned will not be sitting at home unless and until it's pandemic going outside, She will not be sitting at home and doing nothing. The real work begins after that. You have to go to many public events. And which is that phase which would be sold all across the globe and will invite more and more sponsors. You have to think in that way. So in that sense, Mexico is a flourishing market, and Miss Universe is trying to invest in that. I would not say that India is not a big market. If you talk about Miss World pageant, I think the Femina Miss India organization proved it to the Miss World organization after changing their national pageant criteria, and also by inviting the organizers many times to India, inviting all the continental winners for the Beauty with a Purpose project. So in that sense, I would say it's a very smart move by Femina Miss India organization to continue the relationship with the Miss World organization in a beautiful way, and to promote it worldwide that India is a huge market for winners from Miss World, or even the runners up for that matter, like Priyadarshini. She is doing fabulous in her career. So in that sense, India has done very well at Miss World. It's all about connection. If you talk about Philippines has recently hosted Miss Universe, and they have sent quality candidates to Miss Universe time and again. If you talk about different candidates like Mexico, like last year, Sofia Aragon, she was the runner-up. And if you talk about the placements, I think one factor is that where is the maximum benefit from the market. The another thing is that you never win any beauty pageant just like that. You have to build the momentum, and I'm very glad and proud of Adeline Castillo, that she built a momentum by taking India to top 5 after 20 years. It's a huge thing. It's a very huge thing. It's something which you should be very proud of. Instead of questioning the crowning ceremony, you should be very proud of the fact that Adeline Castillo had this caliber inside her, that she took India and she proved it that India is not something which should be avoided, which should be ignored. It's not a sash to be ignored. And this is the fact why I feel that she has led the way for the coming successors to follow behind her. And I have said this in my live chat also one night before the Miss Universe finale, that she's like Madhu Sapre. She is making way, she's opening the way for the coming representatives from India at Miss Universe after Vartika placed in top 20. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful representation of Adeline Castillo. In last 10 years, she was the best. And if you talk about certain years, India has not done well at all. And also if you talk about promotion and marketing, do you really think that Indian representatives of Miss Universe get much attention in Indian media? I'm very sure many people in India don't even know about the name Miss Diva. So in that sense, you have to think in the business terms as well. Like, what kind of organization, any international organization will be convinced with that, hey, if I give this girl the title, she is going to garner more attention to my organization, to my pageant. She'll invite more attention. She'll bring me maximum benefits. So it's not the job of representative to do that, but it's the job of the national pageant organization to prove that we are here to benefit you, and it should be the vice versa thing. You benefit me, I'll benefit you. And pageants do work in this way. You cannot completely rely upon the performance you see on the stage. Okay, so that is one thing. And another thing is that Latin American country people, they were questioning why IMG is only crowning Asian and African twice, in the span of 5-6 years. Why? So in that sense, I was kind of sure that this is going to be Latina, not before the pageant began or after the pageant began. I think after Miss Universe 2019, when we were having a discussion with all the pageant experts from our pageant community, we had this idea in our mind that it might be possible that in the coming edition we may see a Latina winning the Miss Universe crown. Also, she has the face, she can sell the brand very nicely. And if you talk about Peru, I think it's a very small market, although Latin American country, and she gave a fabulous performance, she looked stunning as well, but it's not the only thing you want to have when you look for a winner, just like I said. And then if you talk about India, I think India was given a beautiful platform by the organization, and she did very well as well. But unfortunately, the fate was not in her favor, because unfortunately she got to speak on a very sensitive topic in India. Now Indians know that she was asked to talk about, protest. So it might be a neutral topic for other people, but how the situation, the political scenario of India is in at present, that is something which we cannot explain. Like you say something, you quote something, and you will be bashed. So in that sense, whatever she would have said regarding, citizenship amendment bill or farmers protest or anything, it would be later quoted by many media people saying that Miss India said this on a global platform. So I can definitely understand the discomfort which Adeline Castillo might be going through during the final statement round. I think she killed it in the final question and answer round, but in the final statement round, that might be the reason which made her a little bit uncomfortable. We could see it in her eyes that she was a little bit uncomfortable, and I would not say that she was nervous. She was confused whether to speak on this matter or not and what to speak. And it was a tricky question because even when you're thinking about the alternative answers, you still have very less time to convey your thoughts. So in that sense, I would say that it was a very unfortunate moment for India that she got to speak on such a sensitive topic. Had it been a topic like climate change, which Peru later got in final statement, I think she would have killed it. She would have won Miss Universe. So maybe that was the reason, but yes, I'm pretty still not convinced with the fact that Brazil did answer well. I like the impact of her voice. She was very powerful when she was speaking, but I did not like the content of her speech. And so for me, it was between Mexico, Brazil, and India. Peru somewhere was good, but again, looking all the aspects in matter, like if you follow the consistency, Peru was a little bit inconsistent. She was not seen with many other contestants, and if you talk about the social media presence, it was somewhere lost in between. So in that sense, I thought that it is going to be between Mexico, Brazil, and India. DR was my fourth runner-up, and she happened to be the fourth runner-up. So I was really surprised when Adeline was called as third runner-up. But then again, I still believe that she deserved at least second runner-up or first runner-up spot. And I saw her holding hands with Andrea Meza, Mexico. So that is something which I believe by Andrea Meza from Mexico. She won Miss Universe 2020. And I would really request all of you to not get involved in any kind of bashing. Be kind to the winner who has worked so hard on herself from 3 years. It's not easy that when you fail at any pageant. I'm not saying that she failed. It's a huge feat that she achieved first runner-up title. But still, you get to question yourself that what if I don't win at this time? People will laugh at me and so on. So in this way, we should be appreciating the fact that Andrea Meza took herself to Miss Universe stage, polish and work upon herself. And here she is winning a crown for Mexico after 11 years or so? Yes, after 10 or 11 years, yeah. So she's the third title holder and they have not won maximum, titles at Miss Universe. So in that sense, it's not the fault of the girl who won. Even if she was a sponsor's choice or even if she was the organization's choice, it was not her fault. So we should be kind. And also, I'm very surprised at the fact that people are bashing Manushi Children, former Miss World, for congratulating Andrea Meza on her victory and not posting anything for Adeline. Do you even know whether she has congratulated her in person or not? And some people, they went ahead and they called her the worst human being. Like I posted a picture on Instagram a few days back and I was very surprised by the toxic comments which are there. So in that sense, she was somebody who brought pride to country by winning the 6th title. And whatever she's doing right now in her career, whether she's pursuing Bollywood, it's totally her choice. We are nobody to question it. She gave her best when we expected from her. She gave the title. And I think that is something which we should be happy and proud of. Everybody is free. We understand that we all have freedom of speech, but then again, you should be exercising your freedom of speech in the matter that it should not hurt anybody else's sentiments. And if any country has won a crown, we should not make their victory sound bitter. At least we expect the same when we win any pageant. People should not question it to us. We will not feel good. So in that sense, that is my only request, to be kind, and it's going to be a short reign. And who knows that any country who has reached that top 5 like India, we may win in future as well. Anybody can win in future, right? So it's all about momentum, and I think that India has built a momentum with this top 5 finish. So with this, I would like to close my video. Do let me know what do you think about the whole crowning scenario in the comments, and please try to keep the comment section quite positive and free from toxicity. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.